I was very poor and wretched. I wasn't even a pastor. And he saw me from the gutter and picked me up. In 5 months, I got 3 cars. It happened like magic. I started getting money like, in fact, I wasn't dressing like this before. Those that know me some years ago will know. And I don't wear gold wristwatch. And I don't wear designer style.
Thank you, Jesus.
Once again, the message was donating money would be a shortcut to achieving your material dreams.
When the opportunity is presented to you, when you are told that your dreams of financial prosperity can be achieved by just coming to one more church service, when you are told that your disability can be cured by just buying that miracle oil, that financial prosperity is not as far off as you think it is, that the solution to all your problems is within reach, that by giving more of your money to the church, you are automatically in line to escape hellfire, a place that is thought to be of fiery torment, that unless you give your money to the church, your punishment is eternal tormenting in hellfire.
Make it clear to them. Anyone who is not paying his tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop.
The Christian faith has been around for a long time, and for those who are not familiar with it, it is largely based on the life, teachings, and death of Jesus Christ, beginning some 1,991 years ago. Over time, this has grown into a formidable movement, with the Pew Research of 2017 putting the Christian faith at over 2.3 billion adherents, the largest religious movement in the world. While any sincere person might see this as a good thing, anyone with an ulterior motive could easily see this as a very large business opportunity. The very fact that many of these 2.3 billion Christians are likely to believe the words of their pastors, popes, bishops, and cardinals, whether it originates from the Bible or not, seeing their leaders as infallible spokespersons of God, giving them titles like Father, Daddy, Man of God, and so many others, automatically makes it a very ripe audience to sell to for anyone who is able to put up a facade that they have been anointed by God. Anyone who is able to put up an act. At first, it seems a bit harmless. What you do not realize is that some of these people are making millions and millions. And when you really look into it, you realize that a lot of these people have a cult-like following and that they don't have your best interest at heart. The fact that this business of selling salvation isn't taxed in most parts of the world makes it a great business opportunity to pretty much anyone. You see, the main goal is to keep you hooked to them, to make you not stop coming back. That maybe the next sermon you attend, the next miracle water or anointing oil you buy, or the next tithe you pay is going to be your breakthrough, the solution to your health issues, the solution to all your financial worries, while making them millions and having them smile to the bank, and while making you poorer, keeping you in the same health conditions or even worse. So, do you want to learn how to replicate it all? People already know about the Christian faith, but getting people through the door into your new church is the hard part. You want to begin by renting a small space. It could be one room, a school classroom, or even a shop. If you're able to get a good location around a place where the vast majority are Christians, it's even better. So rather than getting a location in a Muslim-dominated area that might make it harder to get new adherents, try to get one in places where you find more Christians, and preferably in places where there are already churches. I know, you're wondering if you'll be able to compete and get a good number of people through the door, especially when there are like 10 or 15 other churches on your street. If you remember, we mentioned that there are over 2.3 billion Christians, and people have already accepted that Christianity is a thing. So you have less of a wall to break through to get people through the doors, to open their hearts to you, and most importantly, to open their wallets to you. Because as you know, the name of the game is making money. You see, as long as you're in a location with a lot of Christians, and especially an area where the standard of living is high enough, where people have more disposable income, you are already on the path to success. Picking the location is the easy part. Getting people through the door, getting them to come back, and getting them to bring their friends is the hard part. You see, worshiping God isn't always the reason people go to church. People generally go to church for the same reasons. Something is lacking in their life, and they feel the church will be able to fill that need. It could be to get answers, to look for hope, to look for someone to believe in, to know the causes of their problems, to get a cure for their ailments.
I really can't say what was happening most of the time. The only thing I know was I just told God what I wanted at home. I prayed to God and I told him some certain things about my marriage, and I just wanted him to deal with some things.
And have you been to other churches that work the same way?
In my former church, we didn't have this kind of display of power. No, this is spectacular.
To not be condemned to a supposed eternal torment in hellfire. It could be out of a desire for financial prosperity.
I want to see people driving a Lamborghini. I want to see somebody walk out of this place today and you buy your Bentley.
These are the emotions and deeply rooted pain points that we have to target. The worst thing that you can do is to allow people to leave church feeling the same way they came, because they won't come back. So you have to do everything in your power to ignite their emotions and spirits. Give them hope, any hope, even if you made it up. It doesn't matter if you have to take drugs to be able to shout for hours. It doesn't matter if you keep your followers on their feet dancing for hours. It doesn't matter if you have to speak in tongues you make up on the spot, tongues you can't repeat 2 minutes later. If you remember, we said you can't succeed in making millions in this industry if you can't make things up. If you can't put up an act of getting divine calling. So the stronger the emotions you elicit, the more success you have. The more people come back, bringing new people. The more contribution you have. And most importantly, the more power you have to command them to give you anything you want. Because in this line of work, you're not a pastor, you're not a preacher, you're a divine motivational speaker.
I was very poor and wretched. I wasn't even a pastor. And he saw me from the gutter and picked me up. In 5 months, I got 3 cars. It happened like magic. I started getting money like, in fact, I wasn't dressing like this before. Those that know me some years ago will know. And I don't wear gold wristwatch. And I don't wear designer style.
Just in case you're not the kind of person to shout and stay hyperactive for hours, there is one other way to tap into people's fears, into people's hopes, and into people's insecurities as a way to keep them coming back. And nothing works miracles like miracles. You see, a large number of people who go to church are in search of miracle solutions to their health issues or other personal issues. We don't want to tell them that getting and following a doctor's advice is the right thing to do. We know they are not happy with their situation and are desperate for cures. So we need to think of a way to make them give us that money. We need to promise them that we have the power to cure them, even if the cures don't exist medically.
It's a blessed oil. Like, it is not like the normal random oil we use for cooking or for anything. But once you believe and you use the oil, it will work for you. It cures sicknesses, it cures barrenness, it cures anything. People have been healed from HIV by using just this oil.
If you remember, we really need to hook them where they are most vulnerable. And what better way to do that than to secretly pay people to pretend to be sick, lame, deaf, blind, and even dead. We ask them to come on stage, and as we are praying and speaking in tongues, these people start to get well. We can even make them give testimonies, like that of a man who was deaf from birth being able to speak fluent English, or someone who was blind from birth being able to identify his parents in a large crowd.
Right now, I see the pastor and my aide standing right next to him, and I see a man out of my my right eye, holding a microphone.
Yes, those things look too good to be true, and they shouldn't be believed. But if you remember, what we said in the beginning was that if anyone in the audience questions us, we have to put them on the spot. We have to call them faithless. We have to use them as an example to the church, that as long as they are rational in their thinking, they will never see their miracles. We have to scare them into believing. But there may be some truly sick people who would want us to heal them. And as you know, our miracles were all staged. They were not real.
Jesus, now walk.
Earlier I'd seen the man walking unaided, but no one else mentioned it. Other people were also supposedly healed. I wanted to quiz the sick people about these life-changing events, but none would speak to me.
6 years ago, 6 years.
It's hard to know how to feel about what I've just seen. Everybody in there seems to totally believe what they're told, but from my point of view, people who hobbled in half paralysed have left in pretty much the same state. The only thing that seems to have changed is that the bag that was completely empty is now full of cash.
We will still pray for the truly sick people though, and if they don't get well, we can just blame it on them, that they are faithless, or try to know if they have an aunt in the village and blame their problems on the poor woman. You see, in this game, you have to tell your followers that you should be the first point of call for all their problems. And when they bring problems that you can't solve, you can always blame it on them and then ask them to pay you to help them get a solution. I know, you're wondering if it is ethical or not. But I want you to remember that the name of the game is making money. And conscience, that isn't a word we know. Now that we have them hooked, now that they see us as a demigod, the only one that can help them solve all their problems, now that they are ready to do absolutely anything we tell them, now that they believe that we are God's representative, we will be moving to the next stage of our business. If you have done everything right until now, you should have followers in the hundreds or thousands, with the majority being women, older ones preferably. You should have moved from that small shop or classroom into a much larger space. You should have members who have your pictures in their homes, who worship the very thought of you, followers who are ready to go to the ends of the earth for you. As your congregation gets larger, so does the contribution you get from them. You soon have the money to open more branches, and you can even have affiliate pastors who earn a commission when they open their own churches and use your branding.
The RCCG missionaries all over the world are nothing but lies. Many of them that left Nigeria on their own. Many left on their own. They were not sponsored or backed up financially. It's more or less a franchise system of operation. In that where you are, you have already told the man there that, look, I'm going to Italy to take over Italy. So because there is no RCCG in Italy, and that you are the first person to go there, before you leave Nigeria, your papa, your regional, your so-called this thing, you must have given him. So Italy have been sold to you. So no other person must go to Italy except you.
You should have loudspeakers on the roof of your church so that the demons who are your neighbors who don't want to come to your church won't be able to sleep in their houses.
Neighbors say that not only is the music loud, but they can hear it at different hours of the day.
There was still 3 o'clock in the morning a couple Saturdays ago.
If you have done the part of demonizing anyone who questions your actions right, you should be able to get away with these fairly easily, as your followers will always defend you if any of those demons ever complains about the noises. You can now ask your followers for pretty much anything, and they will gladly give it to you.
We are believing for 200,000 people to give contributions of $300 or more.
Is it their whole salaries? Is it their cars? Is it their houses? All you ever need to do is ask, and they'll be ready to give to you. They wouldn't even bat an eye. You just have to add a touch of divinity, that God asked you to tell them to give that thing to you. So in their mind, they are not giving you money. They are giving the Lord money to spread His message.
Some people say, why do you need an airplane? It started out about a couple of weeks ago. I was in Fort Worth. I preached on a Friday night and a Saturday. I was in Fort Worth preaching for Jerry Savelle. Sunday morning, I was in Boston, Massachusetts. Monday, I was in New Orleans. Tuesday, I was in Chicago. Wednesday, I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thursday, I was in New Orleans. Friday, I was in San Antonio, Texas. Saturday, I was in New Orleans. Sunday, I was in another city.
Do you want a private jet or a new car? Would you like to build a private university even though you know the poor people who are your followers won't be able to afford to send their children there? You just have to ask. They will break their backs and even steal so you get what you want. Remember, always add a touch of divinity.
This was such a good illustration. I just, the Lord impressed me. That's why we're on that airplane. We can talk to God.
Glory to God.
Tell them God is the one who gave you the message. If you have done a good job of hooking them where they are most vulnerable, making them see you as God's spokesperson or even a demigod, the one with all the answers, you should be able to get away with almost anything you ever do. Anything.
The God who made a covenant with Daddy Adeboye is always here to fulfill the work for him, and he's doing it for him. He's the helper of Daddy Adeboye. The God Almighty has never failed him.
You know that many of the things we have done to get to this level is very far from what the Bible or even Christianity actually stands for. But who cares, right? You soon get to a point where your new business empire comes under stress, like when some of your members are becoming woke, so they might not be giving you as much money as they used to. All the power and influence we have acquired up until now can now come into play. We now have to twist some of the things the Bible says, or even add some to support our narrative. Most importantly, in the aspect of money, we have to tell them that they will face bad things like loss of life, unhappiness, health issues, or misfortune if they don't bring their tithes and offerings.
Every robber who robbed God of his tithes and offerings is under a curse.
For the most stubborn ones, we have to tell them that they will face eternal torment in hellfire should they continue holding on to that money.
Make it clear to them. Anyone who is not paying his tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop.
You can use anything. You just need to be creative. You won't have to worry about anyone questioning you. Up until now, we have made them believe that we are demigods, God's representatives, and whatever we say and do should be taken as coming from God. And we have tried as much as possible to remind them that God says to touch not my anointed. If you have done everything right until now, all you have to do is to sit back and watch your gullible followers beg you to take their money. And we can do just about anything we want with that money, from buying private jets to living the lives of royals.
In COVID, I bought a jet. In COVID. The third, I have three. The third one.
I'm only able to say that I'm blessed of the Lord.
His blessings include a Gulfstream 5 jet and several BMWs. The Winners Chapel Church has 5,000 branches across Nigeria and 1,000 more in 63 other countries across 5 continents. But Oyedepo's empire also includes 2 fee-paying universities that he built from scratch, a publishing house for Christian self-help books, and an elite high school.
Pastor Adeboye himself has a palatial home and a private jet, among other luxury items.
With help from a $54 million private jet. In a video posted to his website last week, he asked his followers for help funding the aircraft.
We're believing God for a brand new Falcon 7X so we can go anywhere in the world.
What about the power and influence we have over the lives of our sheep? The potential is simply limitless.